Ideally, the buttons will be a little bit bigger, but you see the point. Someone can just click follow on Instagram, click it, and look, there is the Instagram. Easy, easy peasy, etc., etc. So that's a link tree. Now I know that one is a little bit, testy. You can figure out exactly how you want it to work for your business, but I use it personally, especially when I'm out meeting new people, doing new things. I'm like, hey, just scan. You can do all the things right here. Super duper easy. Okay, we have two more, and these two are definitely going to be my favorite two because I used them recently and they have literally changed the game for my business. Okay, so we are going to talk about display. Now, what do I mean by display? Most commonly, when you do a fair or a pay-per-face event, I don't know about y'all, but putting up signage, creating posters and banners, and putting up canopies are definitely down on the bottom of the list of things I like to do. It is not my favorite. In fact, I kind of have this thing about doing fairs and festivals that makes me like, it's just so much hard work. Now, this idea all stemmed from me doing my state fair. And the first year when I did it, it was so hot that all of my signage just kept falling down every day. It was like tape, the adhesive, whatever. Just couldn't figure it out. And y'all, I am bad at putting together stuff from IKEA, so I'm sure you can imagine how hard it is for me to figure out how to put together my displays for the fairs and the festivals. So after COVID, so keep in mind, I got into my state fair during COVID, okay? That's a long story for another day. But that following year, I was like, how can I make this easier for myself? Because keep in mind, I'm a one-woman show. A lot of you have significant others, partners that go and help you put together all the things. I don't have one of those, okay? So I was like, okay, what can I do to make this a little more easier for myself? And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, the restaurants do this for their menu. So why can I do this for my menu? So that is when I tried out having a digital display. So the idea is that people would scan a QR code, and instead of me having 100 I don't have 100 figures. I have like maybe 25, 25 options, figuring out how to put it on a banner, how to display it so the wind won't blow it over, etc. How can I do this with a QR code? So scan, and they would look on their phones. The only issue that we had, so I know immediately the pushback that you're thinking is, oh my gosh, kids don't have phones. 99% of the time, especially at a big fair, a public event, kids are going to be with their parents. The parents have to pay for it. Totally, totally okay? Promise you, this is not going to affect any of your productivity as far as kids, not being able to see the options. The only other thing is I would have a backup, like if you do have somewhere to display it on paper, or in my case, I had an iPad, which we use as our POS system to process payments. I would have it on there just in case, like someone's phone was malfunctioning or, odd. But this is like a very, very small occurrence. 99% of people were able to scan it, look on their phone at the options. So I'm going to show you exactly how I set this up. Again, you can do this for free on a website, just how I showed you before with the blank page. But I already have one set up, so I'm just kind of going to show you exactly what it looks like. Okay, so I am going to come here to these fancy faces. Okay, so let's see, share this. All right, here it is. So this is my main page. I'm just going to show you on the site what it looks like. All right, so loading really quickly. If you don't already know as well, but I have a whole series of classes available through the International Face Painting School where I show you all about how to build a website, how to use a website, all these pages on the back end of my website. There are so many, okay? But we are going to go to the digital fair menu, which, oof, listen, y'all, I use this website for so much. I have so many pages, but all right, here it is. So at the top, it says face painting design. Now, I always put this little clause in there. If you are working with other artists, please select the design choice you like and give the design code to the booth attendant. Yes, we usually have a line manager. Design may vary slightly by artist. Now, this is just a super quick aside. So if you look at these pictures, I painted these a certain way on purpose, okay? I am a very big fan of the under promise, over deliver strategy. The idea was that the designs are simple enough that any artist who's working in the booth can do, but if you have time to spruce it up, yes. Versus me putting my best designs on this menu and one of my artists can't exactly duplicate it, or we're trying to, do it really fast. There's 100 people in the line and we don't have time to add every single little detail, and the customer complains because they're paying for it. So, and this is just a strategy that I use. Again, you're going to do whatever works best for your business and your setup, okay? So, now, when I do fairs, I generally have two price points. I have an A and a B. A are the ones that are a little bit on the smaller side. Maybe it's just one side versus the whole face. Something, I don't really do a lot of cheek stuff, but usually they're just one side designs. And then we have B, which are the more fuller face designs, more complicated designs that take a little more time. So these are our prices. I'm not suggesting that you use these same prices, but the prices work really well for me. Okay, so we have an A and a B. So I have A1 all the way down to AB12. So not too many options. But this is the, let's see, oops, sorry. The URL, you are basically going to, now the good thing about this, if you actually pay for a website, and this works on any platform, not just Wix. If you go into your actual pages settings, so we're gonna go here, go to settings. It's here. You can customize the URL. So in this case, it's mystiquesfancyfaces.com/ and I have it as menu. You can set it to whatever you want. /fair, /festival, /whatever you want. This just helps it so it's easier for me to remember. And this is what it looks like live, okay? So this is mystiquesfancyfaces.com / menu. Just like that. Now, I'm gonna show you, ideally, you would take this, Control-C, you're gonna copy mystiquesfancyfaces.com / menu or whatever your site domain is, and you're gonna go to, you guessed it, the Wix free QR code generator. Again, it's just here. Okay, there's this tab. All right, now we're gonna put in that domain. Then you're gonna push download. But the QR code is right here. All right, so where would you display this? So at the fair, what I had was a very large A-frame. I got this printed at my local print shop for like $30, something small. Put it on there and it says to see design, scan here. Most people pull out their phone, scan, pull it up right on their phone. So much easier than trying to figure out how to put all the stuff everywhere. Now, if you are a vet in the game and you've already been doing festivals and fairs, you probably already have a setup that works great. But if you ever want to add pictures, or if you ever had new designs and you kind of wanted an easy way to do that, you can also say, check out some of our new designs. Put it on there. There's so many ways that you could format this to help you at a fair festival with a digital display. So, okay, in this case, let me show you again. So, let's see. All right. I have to do this every time. Okay, here we go. Boom. So I am going to pull up this QR code. I'm going to scan it. Now at the bottom, you see that little thing that pops up? We're going to click it. And look at that. There it is. Face painting designs. scroll, scroll, scroll. You can see all of them nice and big. Easy peasy. They could just say, oh, I like this one, the skull. That's B9. They would tell my line manager, he wants B9, ring them up, boom, done. Like, okay. That to me just changed my whole world around, okay? I also, you could do this like if you had a word board, but most commonly it's not like a word board is so much easier to print out than like tons and tons of pictures. Like, oh my goodness, I had a really hard time. If you have another easy way to do this besides digital that you're like, oh, this worked for me, I would love to hear about it in the comments, okay? Okay, let's move on because guess what? We zipped through that. We only have one more, and this one is truly a game changer. This is something that I haven't really heard of a lot of people in our industry doing, but here's the scenario, okay? You are doing a festival, and you kind of don't have a line manager for whatever reason. You're like, can't, I want to take my own money. Or B, what if you have an emergency, your line manager can't be there, right? We're going to set up a digital pay station. Now, there's good news and bad news for this, okay? I'll start with the bad news first. The bad news is, in the previous scenario of the state fair, this would not work because we have two different price points, okay? I found that this digital pay station works the best when you only have one price point, okay? Now, what scenario would that be? I'll give you the perfect one, a real life scenario, okay? So I got requested to do a pay-per-face event. This was at the end of 2023, so almost 2 years ago. And it was a Christmas festival, holiday festival. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. They said it was going to be busy, etc. I have another bonus, okay? Are you ready for this one? So when I'm requested to do new PPF events, I tell the organizer, now this is just me, it's risky, right? I tell the organizer, hey, we would love to do this only if you're willing to cover the difference in sales if we don't make our hourly minimum, which is $150 an hour. So that means, if they're like, oh, it's going to be so busy, yada, yada. Okay, great. Are you willing to cover the minimum, $150 an hour, minus the sales, if we do not make that because it's not as busy as you're saying? Hint, hint. I feel like we get solicited a lot to do these, pay-per-face events, but how do you know if people are really going to show up? You have no idea, right? There's so many factors to this. So the thing to cover myself, because my time is so valuable, I am getting to the point, y'all, where I am just getting old, okay? Going out and setting up and doing all these festivals, I don't have it in me anymore. So I'm like, hey, I can come if you agree to this contingency. I will tell you that most people do not, and that's okay. Me personally, I don't do pretty much any PPF events anymore. But if you're willing to take the risk and they say no, totally okay. And it's only for first-time events. Like after I do it the first time and it's busy, cool. But most people say no because guess what? They understand that it probably won't be that busy. Oh, I hate to say that, but that's just the reality of the situation. Well, guess what? This festival that invited me, they said, oh yeah, we can agree to do that. No problem, right? That's a good sign, okay? That means that they have done this before and they're confident that the foot traffic will not render them with a big bill, okay? That is a perfect sign, all right? So they said yes, and I went. And I was like, all right, I'm going to be the only face painter here. It's another hint, okay? Only face painter. So how about I just have one price point, okay? It was, I think I made it $13 the first year. I don't remember. This last year we made it $15 and it worked out great. So $15, and I'll have a list of options. I actually made a word board. I didn't use pictures, so I didn't need a digital display. I said, let's do that. They're going to cover the minimum. So we have perfect opportunity to do an experiment. And I was like, okay, do I want to have a line manager for this? Now, I pay my line managers very well. I pay them $21 an hour. So I want a good line manager that does more than just taking the money. They're like my assistant for the day, okay? But I was like, gosh, I just, I don't know. Is it going to be good? I have no idea. So I was like, let me just try doing a digital pay station, okay? So ideally, especially when people are paying with card, that is what takes the longest, right? Because now they have tap to pay, which is super easy, like tap, but even still, if they need a receipt, oh, gotta put that in, right? Oh, tap's not working. Oh, gotta do this. Slide. Oh, that's not working. Manual. I mean, there's so many hiccups and hangups with taking cards. So I was like, you know what? Let's do digital. Now, again, one single price point, and I will tell you why. When someone's scanning these QR codes, you're basically going to put them in as products. Now, sorry, I'm getting a little allergies. You can actually do this if you have a website already that is set up to take payments. You can do this through your website, okay? It is called a pay link, okay? If you don't have a website, totally okay, because you can also do this through PayPal, all right? Now, I've heard that you can do it through Stripe, but it has to be a payment processor that actually takes individual payments, like products and service payments, not a Venmo or a Cash App, unfortunately, sorry. So either a website or a payment processing system like PayPal, okay? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you two things. A, how to set up the pay links. Well, really three. How to set up the pay links, how to actually display the pay links, and then what it looks like when someone scans it, okay? Now, this is basically going to be like your technology line manager, cashier person, okay? All right, here we go. So I am going to go to the home page. First, I'm going to make sure I'm logged in and stuff, and then I'm going to share my screen. Okay, great. Here it is. All right, so let's share the screen. It's PayPal. Share. You have to also click another button. Okay, here we go. So this is PayPal. This is what it looks like on the front end of your PayPal dashboard. All of us should pretty much look the same. So you're gonna go to this one, the pay and get paid, and you're gonna see right on the side, it says pay links and buttons. That's where we're gonna go today, okay? Now, here's the good news, okay? It's the good news to go with the bad news that I gave you. In the scenario of a fair, you could still use a QR code, but what you're going to do, so like here in the item name, so we're going to push face painting, description's optional. Instead of one set price, you could put customer set price, okay? And on the QR code, when they download it, it'll have them input the price. The thing that you're going to have to make sure is that people are calculating the price correctly. So if in the instance of my A and B, right, if they have one A and two B, it'd be better for you to say, hey, the total is, in this case, that'd be $67. $67. And then when they scan it, they would put in the $67 and send you the payment. So that could work, okay? But in this case, we are going to set the prices, all right? So in the case of my reindeer magic thing, right? That's what it was called. This price was $15. Now, what I had to do was put in one, okay? So we're gonna make 4 to 5, but really 4 works because I've done this digital pay station multiple times and I've never done a 5 one. So we're gonna set up 4 different QR codes. One for one single face painting, one for 2, one for 3, and one for 4, okay? So in the case of you have multiple clients, it's one single price. So 15 is gonna be for 1, 2, 30, 3, 45, 4, $60. So when the person comes, they have 3 kids, they're gonna scan the one for 3 face paintings, okay? You get the point of the exercise? If they have 2 kids, they're gonna scan it for 2. So they don't have to do any math, and it's just very straightforward, okay? So we have that one boom. We are going to go to QR code. Great. Okay. Let me go to preview. Oh, great. Description, quantity. I guess in this case, let's see, maximum 10. Okay, great. You can add images if you want. And then that's it. Then we're gonna go to build it. It says your pay link is ready. And then you're gonna go over here to QR code. Okay, so there's a QR code. Gonna push download so that you can display it. Now I'm gonna show you how I displayed mine. I use a application that's very similar to Canva. It's called PicMonkey, but I am just going to show you what it looks like. So here it is. Pretty much like this, but this is for a different event. Same scenario. I was doing glitter tattoos. They were $7 a piece. I put the actual event name at the top. So in that case, it was a reindeer magic event. Now I'm going to show you what this looks like when we scan it on PayPal. So let me share this. Okay. So, wait, let me go back. I'm sorry. I did that so fast. Okay, so we have the QR code for 1 here, 2 here, 3, and then 4. Easy peasy, okay? So when you download this, I just literally had a sign holder on my table. It says pay here, and people pretty much understood very easily. If I wanted 2, I'd scan the 1 for 2, etc. Okay, just want to make sure I didn't really explain that. Sorry, got ahead of myself. Got so excited about scanning this, this QR code. Okay, so we downloaded it, 1 face painting. Now, I think on PayPal, so on my website, I don't have the option to select quantity. So I am excited to see what this looks like. All right, so I am going to show you again on my phone, which we can't see super well, but I'm gonna make it work, okay? Okay, here we go. So let me scan the code. Boop. All right, there's a little yellow button. Click it. Okay. Let's see what we get, shall we? Okay, there we go. PayPal. Okay, 1 face painting. Okay, so in this case, you know what I would put is probably just face painting because they can select the quantity, which I really like. On my website, I'm not able to do that. So it can go all the way up to 10. So I love that. So in this case, if it was 4 face painting, of course, it says $60 right there. Great. So they can pay Venmo, PayPal, or debit or credit card. I love that. That's so cool. I actually think I really like this one better than the one that's on my website, but super easy. In this case, that blank space, I don't like. I would probably add a picture of the event right there. That's probably what I would do to fill that blank space. But again, so easy. I can think of so many ways that I could use for a digital pay station with a QR code. So easy. I mean, literally, when I did this at the event, it just went like this. Oh, the biggest question I get, how do you verify that they paid? I get a ping and an email every time a payment comes through. And I always say, oh, did you get it to work? Did it work okay? Because most people pay while they're in the line, which I love because that really helps things keep going and make more money. By the way, at that reindeer event that I got invited to, I made more than the $150 hourly minimum. I think we made like between the 2 days, a little over $2,000. So it was a great event, okay? But most people would just show me on their phone, like their payment confirmation. So easy, so seamless. Okay, so those are the 5 ways. 5 ways. Can you believe that we've been talking about this for an hour? Oh my gosh. That is 5 ways. Can you think of any other ways that you could use a QR code in your face painting business? To me, these are the top ways. But if there's something else that I'm not aware of, I would love for you to share it in the comments, or maybe it's something that you tried. Maybe there's something that I've shared that could use a little improvement, or a little like, what about this? What about that? Of course, all the questions are invited. Please put them in the comments. I would love, love, love to talk with you about it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in connecting with me, you can connect with me right here on the International Face Painting School, or social media, Celeste Williams or Mystique's Fancy Faces. And I am super looking forward to meeting you all again. Have a good day. Bye.